Hello, dear sister. It is January 2nd, 2018, and it feels like I have been gone from my work forever, even though it's only been a couple of weeks. Um, December kicked my ass, and I can only assume that most everybody else is feeling the intensity of that month as well. You know, it's so funny. I just want to get on here and talk about spirit babies, not the energy that's happening or what we're going through, but you can't separate one from the other. So, what I'm going to attempt to do is just quickly talk about how intense the energy has been and how that may be affecting your communication relationship with your spirit baby. So, first off, I went into December all gung ho with all these plans of, working every day and exercising, 5 days a week, and just, it was going to be a month of full bloom. Well, let me tell you, it might have started off that way, but it took many dramatic, tumultuous turns, and I did work every day for the first 2 weeks, and I did exercise all month long, and I'm so glad I did because it kept me strong. I needed to be strong in body to withstand the intensity of this past month. Um, just very quickly, and again, I can only talk from my experience and experiences of the forerunners, but I can only believe that other people are feeling this just as intensely, um, if not as intensely. I hope not as intensely as the forerunners. I'm going through some big deal stuff in my own life. And I know many of the other main players, the main other forerunners, have been going through big deal stuff too, like car accidents and major illness and almost losing a loved one. And I mean, like the big stuff. So it's really been a true test of our mastery. Um, and if you're December continuing now into January, because the spiritual energy doesn't designate, old year, new year. We're just still in the thick of it. But it really is a very huge time of dying and being rebirthed, and we feel it at the same time. We go through so many little deaths in this spiritual journey. This one right here is a doozy, a big death, like the big death, if you ask me. I have never been so angry. I mean, I've had last month I would be in my car where no one could hear me screaming, my like primal screaming that would make my throat hurt. The rest of the day, just out of just this rage of I can't do this anymore. I can't live this limited lifetime. I can't do this anymore. But the rage, the absolute rage I felt at times. And it's truly just been one thing after another. Little trigger, little trigger, little trigger, big trigger, big trigger, big trigger. Um, and while I was able to see and can still see the expanded part of all of it, it still hurts, and it's still terrifying to the human. Absolutely terrifying to the human. So this is a death of sorts. Our emotions are feeling it, our bodies are feeling it. Lots of physical stuff coming up for a lot of people. Um, Things that can mimic things we're afraid of, things that can mimic like your worst diseases or your worst ailments. It's coming up for you to look at, deal with, face, um, and trust that everything's okay. And now I'm going to share a dream I had. Uh, it was probably about a week ago, or maybe a little bit longer. But this is exactly what we're being faced with right now. So this dream I had, I was going up a very steep mountain, and it's a journey I'd been taking for a while, and I was going up with a whole bunch of other light workers. But then as I was nearing the top, I would see these other light workers racing back down the mountain, and I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, well, why would you take all that time to climb up the mountain only to race back down? I mean, they were racing down dangerously, like almost hitting me and sort of thing. Then I got to the top and I could see why they were racing down, because greeting me at the top of this mountain were about, a dozen to 20 very menacing, malevolent, hooded black figures just, spanning the top of this mountain. And I'm like, oh, that's why everybody's running back down. Here you are thinking you're going to be climbing the mountain to meet yourself, and what do you have to do? You have to face these huge, grim reaper like beings that are, what are they going to do? They're going to kill us. So a lot of the light workers were just turning around and racing back down. I paused at the top and I felt in this situation. My first instinct, of course, was to run back down. But I could see in my inner mind that if I did race back down, these beings would just follow me, chase me, and overtake me just like that. So if I ran from them, that was it. It was over for me. So instead, I filled myself up with love, and I walked up the mountain, and I walked right through them. And as I did, their hoods came off, and I discovered they were all friends of mine playing a part. It was like the hugest test. And it wasn't just one, it wasn't just two, there were 12 to 20 of them representing our biggest fears. But if we just face it and walk through them, they take off their cloak and they're just playing a part, so you can own your mastery, so you can own your fearlessness. And as I was walking through them and realizing there was nothing to fear here, that's when I got my superhuman powers, just like that. So it was an important dream, and it's very symbolic of what we're going through right now. Arduously climbing up this mountain for years, lifetimes, lifetimes, years in this lifetime. And you think you're getting to the top of this mountain to, get your prize, to, find your soul. And we have to face these big dark demons one by one by one. And we have to greet them fearlessly and realize it's all okay. And once we face those fears, we become who we truly are. So I gotta say, I'm still in the process of facing those fears. My superhuman powers have not kicked in yet, but that's where we are right now, and we're facing them. So, if you have any fears of, just to, borrow some things from women I've heard recently, if you're, a woman of, in your 40s or something, and you're afraid of menopause because you've been trying to conceive, then you know what, you're going to mimic all these feelings of menopause. I had this health scare with my son, huge health scare. Whatever he was going through was mimicking this horrible disease. And I had to follow that route a little while knowing it would be okay. And it turns out it's not that. But whatever you really fear, it's going to be right up here in your face. And you're going to have to face it and realize that you're okay, that you're absolutely okay. So that's where the forerunners are right now. So if you've been getting your ass kicked, that's why. This is your true test of mastery. And let me tell you, it doesn't mean that you need to handle it gracefully. I cannot say I've been handling it gracefully. I've had times of, I told you about the primal screaming, just feeling like a victim, feeling, just really angry and like, what the hell is this all for? I've been questioning my work. If you're having crises of faith, that's also part of your journey. And we have to totally disconnect from where we were to plug into the new. And I don't know how long this process is. It's grueling. I email with one of my Forerunner soul sisters. I talk about her a lot, Carrie. And, she and I agree it's very schizophrenic. We'll be laughing and having this 5D moment in one instant and then just be back stuck in the victimization another minute. So it's a huge death of the little self going on right now as we truly, totally surrender into a new way of being. And this is important for me to say right here. As I've been having all these crises of faith and questioning everything, it doesn't mean we've been doing anything wrong, even if what we tap into on the other side is very different than where we came from. The whole journey we've had up until now has brought us to this place of death and rebirth, to this point of liberation. And, you know, I mentioned this example to my husband, and it still rings in my head all the time. That scene in The Matrix where Neo is talking to the Oracle, and she tells him something that's not exactly what's going to happen, but it's what he needed to hear to make the right thing happen. So when I look at my spiritual journey, you know, I think of, maybe all those things I thought isn't the ultimate truth, but I was given the information I needed to get me where I am right now. And I have to just be the first to say, I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side of this. I absolutely don't know. You know, a lot of the Forerunners' beliefs and understandings are being rearranged. If you follow Doreen Virtue at all, I can't tell you how many decks of her cards I've had. She's had this huge internal reworking where she's now fully on the Bible and Christianity, which to me is, oh my God, what a huge switch. Because while I absolutely believe in Jesus, and Yeshua is what I call him, and what he had to offer, the Bible is just, you know, a huge switch. Anyway, I'm not going to give my opinion on that. Just a huge switch. So we're all going through this internal rewiring. And so what that means in terms of your spirit baby communication is, I mean, we really are being disconnected in a huge, huge way. Again, there's disconnections along the way over and over, but this is a big one. So as we're being disconnected, you will probably not feel your spirit baby or hear your spirit baby. And as I talked about in a few videos ago, you know, if you're hearing from more than one spirit baby, the spirit baby boom, there's lots of things going on, changing in that's reflecting our changing consciousness. So you may have been talking to one spirit baby, and on the other side of this, you might find that you're talking to even more, or maybe they switched, they flip-flopped. It's crazy, sister, because everything we thought we knew and thought we were going to is switching and changing, but it's switching and changing into a higher version that we can't even imagine. And so that's where we are right now. We're being asked to totally surrender to the divinity, to stop trying to control our lives, stop trying to control the timing of anything, and really fully surrender to the divine. And I mean fully. And I'm going to, you know, a bright spot in my month has been rediscovering the author Tosha Silver. I read her book Outrageous Openness years ago. But I got it again on my Kindle, and I'm loving it. So if you're feeling like you need some help really fully surrendering, Tosha Silver, Outrageous Openness. It's such a great, great book, and it helps you just, you know, let the divine take the wheel, because it's time for us to just get out of our way. The human brought us as far as the human could bring us alone. And we need to give that human kudos and so much love and compassion. The human is the hero. The human has brought us to this threshold. But now the human is retiring. The ego is dying. There's a death process going on. And it's so painful. And if you have to grieve, grieve. On the other side of this, though, is such tremendous support and reworking. And again, I don't know what it's going to look like. And the point is, I don't even want to try to imagine, because from my limited view, I probably can't even imagine how good it can be. It's all going to happen in 2018. I know. No, it's a process. It's a process. Will you meet your spirit baby in 2018? Yes, many of you will, because the babies want to come in to help accelerate this consciousness. So, but again, we have to let go of the timing of all of it. Let go of the timing and let it unfold. So if you're feeling disconnected, if you're having scary symptoms, if you feel like you're totally losing it, if you're having a crisis of faith, go with it as best you can. Take very good care of yourself. Love yourself through it. You know, in my moments of rage, the most loving thing I can say to myself is I'm not doing anything wrong. I love myself. I let this flow through me. You got to let it flow through you. So anyway, that's some of where I have been the past couple weeks, and yeah, I'm not out the other side yet. Just this morning, I was having moments of just feeling rage where I was afraid I was going to lose it on my dog or something. So it's a schizophrenic energy right now. Highs and lows, dying and being rebirthed. Just trust the process. And in whatever way you can, fully surrender to the divine. Because the Divine Mother can carry us and cradle us and comfort us, and pave the way for us so much better than we can alone. So anyway, let me know how you're doing in the comments, because your comments help me come up with my own video content for the next blog. So let me know how you're doing, and let's talk. All right? I'll see you soon.